Hello dear phasmatic friends. Today, simplification of radicals. Follow me please. First of all, we're going to do one example. 15th root of 27 x to the power of 9 y to the power of 6 divided by 20th root of 256 x to the power of 8 y to the power of 16. Well, for this we can write exponents as fractional exponents. For instance, we're going to write 27 x to the power of 9 y to the power of 6 raised to 1 over 15. Remember, when you have, for example, square root, it is the same as 1 over 2 as exponent. So if you have 15th root, you can write it like that. And for the other root, you can raise it to 1 over 20. So we start with that. Now, what can we do? We can, please pay attention, when you have numbers inside roots, almost always you need to factorize those quantities. What's that? You're going to write the 27 with a line, vertical line, and you're going to write the 256 with a vertical line. And you're going to see if it can be divided by 2. No, because it is not an even number. But here you can divide it by 3, because if you add 2 plus 7 is 9, and 9 is a result of the table of 3. So 27 divided by 3, 9. 9 divided by, again, 3. I can divide it by 3 again, 3. And 3 can be divided by 3, 1. So that means it is 3 to the power of 3. So we can write it as 3 to the power of 3, x to the power of 9, y to the power of 6, raised to 1 over 15. For the other number, the same. 256 can be divided by 2 because it ends in an even number, So here we have 128, and because it ends with an even number, you can divide it by 2 again. So you have 64 that you can divide again by 2. That is 32 that you can divide again by 2. That is 16 that can be again divided by 2. That is 8 that can be divided by 2. That is 4. 2 that is 2. 2 that is 1. So here we have 2 8 times. 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay. So you can write it as 2 to the power of 8, x to the power of 8, y to the power of 16 raised to 1 over 20. Now, if you remember the exponent rules, you can, when you have one exponent raised to another exponent, you are going to multiply those exponents. But remember that here you have a fraction. So you can put the number 1 here in order to make it easier. Remember that in multiplication of fractions, you multiply the numerator by the numerator and the denominator by the denominator. So we are going to write 3 to the power of 3 times 1, 3. 1 times 15, 15. X to the power of 9 times 1, 9. 1 times 15, 15. Again, y raised to the power of 6 times 1, 6. 1 times 15, 15. And the same for the denominator. 2 to the power of 8 times 1, 8. 1 times 20, 20. X to the power of 8 over 20. And y to the power of 16 over 20. Now, We can simplify those fractions. Can you see? 3 over 15, you can divide the numerator by 3 and the denominator by 3. So you write 3 raised to the power of 1 over 5. The same for x, x to the power of 3 over 5. The same for y to the power of 2 over 5. And 2 to the power of 8 and 20 divided by 2 is 4 over 10. But that again divided by 2, 2 over 5. The x has the same exponent, so it is also 2 over 5. And y to the power of 8 over 10, 4 over 5. Now, pay attention please. If you have a denominator of 5 in all factors, you can put them into a fifth root. And you are going to write 3 raised to the power of 1, x to the power of 3, y to the power of 2, 2 to the power of 2, x to the power of 2, and y to the power of 4. Because the 5 indicates us that you have a fifth root because of the law of exponents. Finally, we're going to simplify those factors and we write, well, 3, we leave it like that. 2 squared is 4. After that, x to the power of 3 over x to the power of 2, we subtract the exponents and we have the x to the power of 1 in the numerator. When you subtract the numerator exponent by the denominator exponent, you leave it in the numerator. And for the y, 2 minus 4 is minus 2. But in order to leave it positive, we write it in the denominator. Because if you have y raised to the power of negative 2, you can write it in the denominator to have positive 2. And that's it. Thank you very much for the first example. Now we are going to calculate the second example. Here, another example. We can see that we have cube roots everywhere. So we can write all those expressions into only one cube root because of the law of radicals. Laws of radicals. So we write a cube root of 54 x to the power of negative 1, y to the power of 5 over, and here you can see that it is a multiplication. So here you are going to write 8x squared y to the power of negative 1 times 250 x to the power of negative 5 y to the power of 3. Now we're going to solve those multiplications, and here we have the cube root of 54x to the power of negative 1 y to the power of 5 over, so x times 250 is 2000, x squared times x to the power of negative 5, you add the exponents and you have x to the power of negative 3. And finally, y to the power of negative 1 times y to the power of 3 is y squared. Now, we're going to simplify those expressions and that's it. 54 over 2000 is 27 over 1000 because we can divide those factors by 2. After that, x to the power of negative 1 divided by x to the power of negative 3, we subtract the exponent, minus 1 minus minus 3, negative times negative is positive, so we have 2x squared. Finally, y, we subtract the exponents, 5 minus 2 is 3. And remember, when you have numbers into the roots, you can factorize those numbers. 27, we are going to factorize it, and 1000, we are going to factorize it. So, we can divide it by 3, that is 9, and again by 3, that is 3, and again by 3, that is 1. So, we can write it as 3 to the power of 3. 1, 2, 3. And 1000 we can divide it by 2, 500, by 2, 250, by 2, 125. And after that we can divide it by 5, 25, by 5, 5, by 5, 1. So we're going to write the same, x squared y cubed, and 2 cubed, 5 cubed. Multiplication. Okay, so pay attention please. When you have cube root and inside you have an exponent that is 3, you can simplify and take those expressions out of the root. If you have square root and you have exponent 2, you can simplify it. If you have fifth root and exponent 5, you can simplify it. So, this root with this exponent, this root with this exponent, with this root with this exponent, this root with this exponent. So, finally, we are going to have the 3 that is going out, the y that is going out, the 2 that is going out, the 5 also, but the cube root of x squared is not changing because a 3 cannot be simplified with a 2. So finally the answer will be 3y cube root of x squared over 2 times 5, 10. Thank you very much, dear Fastmatic friends. See you next time.